Wow, there's Ira, there's Corey. What's happening, boys?
What up? What up?
Guys doing all right?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, all things considered.
I was going to say, yeah, that's
hey, the sun came up. The sun came up. We're all breathing air.
Oh, no,
We're
I
standing
asked
above
about
ground.
you specifically. I mean, look, the team is the team, but you guys are doing fine,
I feel like
right?
great. I actually just closed on a house today, and I'm moving in. My wife is moving in right now as we're doing the show, so it's perfect.
Busy time. Hopefully she'll get the whole thing done while you're here for these 2 hours.
She better. That's what she signed up for. I just bought her a house.
There you go.
Are you going to have a mother-in-law suite? Anything like that?
Oh, no. No,
because I was thinking maybe I could.
I was just saying, you got a place for me and Ira to hang out.
Yeah. I got the man. Well, it's not a cave. It's because it's upstairs.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd call that. A man lair.
Sure.
A man loft. A man loft
upstairs.
upstairs. So we got that going for us.
There you go.
Much like we've got register sausage going for everyone, gang.
Right when I was about to say it. Yay, sausage. In fact, had the andouille this morning for me and the boys.
The andouille in the morning?
In the morning.
Not usually a
unique play. That's a unique play,
and get you going.
A little kick.
That's
some nice spice in that andouille.
Glorious, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, there's so many different varieties, different times of day, different occasions.
Yeah. Yep.
Other than losses, Ben put out a promo code last week on the Register Sausage social media with the score predictions. But he put a little asterisk or a little caveat. You couldn't pick Miami to win.
Right, couldn't do it.
Which was clever on his part because now he doesn't have to pay off.
It is.
Nobody could win.
Well done.
Yeah.
But you're always winners if you go to registermeats.com.
Shrewd businessman.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
But if you go to registermeats.com, you can have register sausage delivered to you. And again, go to the website, explore it. It's we probably don't talk about all the different varieties enough, but you've got the breakfast kinds, you got the jalapeno cheddar, which has traditionally been one of our staples.
That's the best one.
It's really good.
That's the best one.
I like the breakfast morning, the little baby links or whatever.
But I don't know that you can. It's like picking your favorite child, Corey. Well, you can.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah,
I got the one. Yeah. And he's, I guess, my favorite by default.
But if you're in this part of the country, the footprint is constantly expanding. And in fact, we just did the big promotion event at Costco. So hopefully they'll be in the Tallahassee Costco and maybe other Costcos here soon. But also you can get them in a lot of different stores. Walmart, Sam's, Publix is this part of the country, ever expanding. And you can go to registermeats.com as well.
All right. So where do you want to start?
It's where do you think the breakdown? Somebody asked me this yesterday on a show, like where's the breakdown of the fan base? Like what percentage is done? What percentage is
big picture stuff. I like this.
Because I don't know. I'm curious. I really don't know, and it's hard to evaluate. I will say this at the game Saturday, and it was before the loss.
Yeah.
Mike Norvell gets a huge pop from the students. When he's announced, man, he gets as big a cheer as anybody.
Yeah.
Now that's probably carryover from the Alabama game, but even after the Virginia loss, like he gets a huge pop. It's as big as anybody. Now you lose that game and that obviously changes things, but
might be different at 11:45 a.m. this Saturday when they announce his name. Might not be as big a pop.
But I like that you're monitoring that the same way that over the years we came to trust that you were looking closely with the sidelines. Yep. You were always checking those sidelines. But I'm not even kidding. I always appreciated that. Let's continue. Let's monitor the pop for Mike Norvell. I have a feeling, as Corey just suggested, it may be lacking this Saturday. Maybe not to the degree. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's overwhelmingly different. Just a little bit decibel lower than what we heard.
And I heard you guys talk, and I'll be honest with you, I don't listen to your segment on Jeff's show that often anymore because I want it to be fresh.
You made that clear. Here. You're not even sure that there is a Jeff Cameron show.
It is on and it's doing great.
Yeah.
So I hear that when you were, I just had a point. I can't remember what it was. It's
just like to disparage me.
No, it's like the people bringing up last year to complain about this year when they're two completely different things. At the same time, sort of like you can understand why people now are, man. Yes, he's only 0-2 this year in conference, but he is 1-9 in his last 10 or whatever. And you can say it's a completely different team, and I agree with you. Because there's no reason this team can't go win 5 or 6 ACC games. None. They probably should at least win 5 of them. But until he does, this is what he is. This is what he is to a majority of the fan base, I think.
I get that. And I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying I don't like the way it's presented sometimes as if this is new information. Yeah. They went 2-10.
Yeah.
We watched them win 1 ACC game. What could their record be?
And also,
if best case scenario, they could be 3-7 right now in the last 10
and they would still be even if they were 5-0, he'd still be 7-10 in his last 17 games. Right. You know what I mean? Like that 2-10 is an anchor though.
That's what I'm saying. But my point is, like, once you decided to bring him back, we can't just keep doing that every time something bad happens, because it's like if you're in a relationship and
put yourself there, Jeff.
You've been in some tough times. You've had some bad moments, but you've decided
put yourself there.
Maybe you have that big meeting with your spouse. I'm not saying this has ever happened in my house.
A big meeting? What is that even? A big meeting with your spouse?
Well, not a formal meeting, but
you
have that real conversation where you're like, okay, let's talk about things. Like,
we are having a problem here, here, and here.
What's bothering you? Why are you being like this? And then they'll say, well, I'm being like this because of this. And then you go through those things. And then you clear the air and say, okay, I'm going to be better about this. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to make these changes. And then the first time or second time you screw something up, you start bringing back all that other stuff. It's like, man, that's not fair.
That's not who I am anymore.
Well, you're trying.
Yeah.
And this coaching staff, this administration is trying to go in a new direction. I think they've made vast improvements. I don't think there's any question about that. So when people just, as soon as you lose another game, it's like bringing up that's, to me, that's not that relevant. They made huge mistakes last year. That's obvious. They've admitted it. Now they're moving on. I just don't like you bringing that up all the time. It just doesn't. To me, it's not constructive. It's just throwing dirt to throw dirt.
Yeah, I think the problem is that in a relationship analogy, you're in a position directly, you specifically, are in a position to make an impact on what happens moving forward. And I think in the case of a fan, the administration made the decision to bring him back. There's probably a contingent of people who were really pissed about that. Right. And so they're going to reach back and say, well, we were already mad, and now this continues. And they're going to bring up the things that they were mad about to begin with. Yeah, I think if you were in favor of bringing him back, it'd be silly to go back and say, well, listen, he lost a lot of ACC games last year. Yeah, if you were in favor of him coming back, then you don't get to really bring that up. But for people who were already not in favor of that, they're like, well, here we go. More evidence of the same thing that I was already pissed about.
I don't know of anybody who thought that they should pay him $60 million.
Well, they knew they couldn't. Right. That's the thing. It's like you may not – I said at the time, and I'll stand by this, that in any other era, you go 2-10 at FSU, you should be fired on the spot. But they could not fire him. They couldn't afford to fire him, and they weren't going to fire him. And so we just knew that was the reality. So you had to discuss what was and not what ought to be and all of those sorts of things. I do think it is, I think he's put immense pressure now on himself and this team for Saturday, because you lose to Pitt, all bets are off. I don't know that there would be, even his most staunch supporters at that point would say, well, you've lost every ACC game you've played this year. Great, you beat Alabama. You've yet to win a conference game. Nobody would be defending him, not vehemently or any other way,
right?
If they lose to Pitt. It is bitterly disappointing, not that you lost to Miami, which you brought up yesterday, Ira, when we were talking. I made the point about being disappointed that they were, it was a lopsided affair, and Miami's clearly ahead of Florida State now. But I said this is all the more exacerbated because they lost to Virginia. And that was my main point. Like, you couldn't lose that Virginia game because now you've lost 2 straight and you're up against it going against Pitt. Had you beaten Virginia and you had that Alabama win in your back pocket, you'd be like, well, it's disappointing. It's a bigger picture conversation that you're further behind Miami than you should be. However, go run the table and you have one loss against the top 3 team. I mean, nobody's going to be that pissed other than you need to catch up. The problem is you did lose to Virginia, and you did turn it over and you did get down and you did make those mistakes. And now you can't afford to falter anywhere here. You got to win this game. It's another home game. You're better than Pitt. Nobody's out spending you on Pitt's sideline. There's no excuses whatsoever. If you lose to Pitt, there's no defending the guy.
No, you need to be 6-2 going to Clemson. That has to happen, and
which is likely. I mean, it's probable. It's
not likely. It'll be very favorable.
Definitely possible.
Yeah, it seems. Well, it's not only possible; it ought to be.
Yeah, and the challenge with evaluating Norvell to me is there's so many circumstances that are so unique to his era in college football. And like the Jimbo Love Fest from this weekend was a little tough to stomach.
Well, and by the way, that's now when you lose, this is what happens. You got a contingent of the fan base like, bring Jimbo back, revisionist history and all this other stuff.
And again, the world that Jimbo recruited that roster in does not exist anymore. Okay, you're not creating a super team just by being a good recruiter. And so the teams that have the super teams are the teams that are spending the most money. Like that's empirical data. There's nobody just recruiting Jameis Winston and all those guys in this era with an average budget.
Also, I would push back on a super team. I don't think that even exists anymore.
It may not. Teams. It may not.
Georgia's really good.
So you're
pining, that good.
So you're pining away for something, and
just like and
that's just not just about Jimbo. There's a thread on our message boards about what was Bowden, like what was the key to his success. Well, that era is not coming back.
Oh man, that's a very different era.
Yeah. Florida State, Miami got those. Anybody that was good in this state was coming to one of those three schools. Well, that era's gone. So I just think you compare. What are we comparing him to? It's also difficult to judge him because, again, people will bring up the career ACC record. Well, man, I don't know how many coaches are having success those first 2 years with the cards he was dealt those first 2 years. Now, last year's all on him, 100% on him. But you come in after the Jimbo Willie mess and in COVID, I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, so he's off to a rough start with that, and some things were out of his control.
Right. So that's where I'm like, so that makes it difficult. But last year's totally on him, and if this year goes sideways too, it's all on him.
And I think that's why we think Saturday. If they lose Saturday, I'm 100% convinced it's going to go sideways. If they win on Saturday, I think there's a good chance they get to 9 wins and 10 wins if they play in a bowl.
Definitely possible.
I think both of those are possible. I almost think it's a flip of the coin, like how this season goes, because as I wrote in the column after the game, it's like, and thank you so much for publicizing that, Jeff. I do appreciate that. When he doesn't get benefit of the doubt either way. You can't assume it's going to go right. You can't assume it's going to go wrong because he's got history doing both. So I literally have no idea where this team will go. No idea where it will go.
I'll take a page out of the Corey Clark playbook and say, I didn't read it.
Right.
So
I know.
I have no way of knowing what you wread.
I know. It was really good. Ira, tell him you read it. It was really good.
I saw it.
Was really good.
I think I read it.
Is he still writing for us?
Does
he do anything for Warchant? Does he do anything? So, I mean, the problem is, and Ira, to your point, is that there are some things that are completely out of control and in control, and you can say, well, gosh, you can't hold that against him. And then he's done enough damage to himself. You can't be – some of the losses on his ledger are abominations.
Yeah,
where you're like, man, come on, brother. And
but none this year.
No.
None this year.
No abominations this
year.
Right.
Well, I mean, losing at Virginia isn't – they're 18th in the country and you lost in double overtime. Yes, you should beat Virginia. You spend more than them. Look around the country, man.
Than them.
But every team that loses, not every team. There's a lot of teams that lose on Saturdays that have the better players. That just happens. It's just that they keep you can't stack on now bad, inexcusable losses on top of excusable losses. And he gave himself no leeway.
Right.
Yeah, no, the wiggle room is gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
Now, I also think that there's a real good chance they go out and play well on Saturday and win.
Pummel them. Pummel them.
Well, it'd be good.
Wouldn't it be fun to pummel them?
It'd be nice. I think it would be a breath of fresh air. But win that game and then win your next game, and then you got to bye. Then you got Wake Forest. Really, there's no good reason anyhow, that you won't be 6-2.
Right.
And if you're 6-2, then obviously everything looks a little bit rosier. You feel a little bit better, and then you have a big tilt against Clemson, and that'll, again, we'll reconsider where we're at. But yeah, he's got to now have a good season. I think you got to get to 8-9 wins. 9 wins would be preferable at this point. I mean, if you beat Alabama,
what do you mean he's got to?
In order to keep favor with the fans.
Okay, but not for his job.
Nobody's firing the guy with what they owe.
With 9
unless
wins.
he goes 6-6 or 7-5.
6-6 and that's on the table if you lose this week. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah, what I'm saying is keeping favor with the fans and having the support of the big boosters,
keeping the recruits.
Yeah, the recruits and the boosters and the money folk and all that. You got it. You got to have a good season. And actually, you positioned yourself so wonderfully by beating Alabama to have said good season.
Mm-hmm.
To piss it away would be a tragedy. Yeah. And that would mean that you lost to somebody who isn't as good as you, like you already did with Virginia. And it would mean you likely had another loss to somebody who isn't as good as you, which is, at some point you just say enough's enough, man. You lose too many games against teams that ought not beat you. Miami's a team that's better than you right now. That's a different conversation. And I hate that part of it too, but that's more forgivable. This other stuff, man, it can't happen. You got to stop doing that.
And maybe it has. Maybe that was in maybe the Virginia game was the last game that happened.
Well, I will say this. I think there's two things when you look at how Florida State played in that game, specifically offensively, because I don't think you can have major problems with the defense. Yeah, they gave up a few big plays, but that's going to happen. And they did a great job against the run. The problems in that game are the offense and turning the football over. The question now is, Tommy has had 5 picks in the last 3 games, and that's as many as he had all of last season. And that's, he's on pace basically to get back to where he was 2 years ago, which was not good. No. And so they have to fix that. Like they have to, and I wrote about it in my 3-2-1 column,
When's
which is finally going to be published.
Oh, are you doing that
this afternoon? Yeah, I'm still running them.
This guy,
I don't know if you'll read it.
I got a column done 30 minutes after a game, and we're waiting 3 days for him.
Between the three of us, there's a lot that goes on that makes this organization successful, but none of us would know what the other. We have no idea.
But that game, that loss is interesting because if Miami, that's I think it's probably going to be the best defense they played all year. And I think when you look back at the end of the season, there's a chance we're going to look at that game and say, man, Miami did an incredible job. Like, I'm not sure if Florida State can get back to what they were doing before with Tommy in this offense. I think there's a chance that they'll start racking up points and yards again. The question is, can Tommy get out of this trying to be the hero? Because I think he's taken on this mentality that he's got to be the guy. He's got to be the guy. And that's not what he did in the Alabama game. He was more of a distributor. Like, he was more of a point guard, not a scoring point guard.
Take what's there.
Yeah. And so they've got to get him back to that in a state of mind, because I think if you look at the two differences from his first year at Boston College to his second, was Bill O'Brien, for whatever his flaws are, it ain't going great without Tommy. He did get him to understand that, man, you have to take what's there. You can't take these chances and kill us. Well, it's gone the other way now, like to where he's trying to make the big play all the time. And that's, I think, what's killing them. So Gus has to figure out a way to rein him back in. So we'll see if he can do it. If he can, I think they can get back on track and go back to having a really prolific offense and winning a lot of football games. If he can't, man, they can lose to a lot of teams.
Wouldn't you say, though, number one, I do think the fourth quarter mattered for that. I think the fact that they went and scored 19 points and he played well in that fourth quarter, although the game was out of reach, is something to build upon. But these 4 interceptions he's had the last 2 weeks, well, one was at the end of the game in overtime where he just threw it up. If the kid bats it down, are we talking about turnovers? And then
he also didn't need to be thrown in the end zone.
Correct, because it was 4th and 12. But then also the one on Saturday on 4th and 8. I mean, he's got to throw the ball. You're going for it on 4th and 8. He's supposed to eat the sack. Now he can throw it to other people, but those two don't bother me. The one at the 5 against Virginia is just dumb. It's careless and dumb, but not as dumb as the one at their 37-yard line on 1st and 10. Awful decision, because the one against Virginia is like you just pull it and throw it.
Split second.
Yeah, but the also, one against Miami is like you had time, you rolled out. There's a guy, Sawchuck's in front of you. You could run, you could throw it away. Just throwing it up for grabs is the stuff he can't do. That's Boston College nonsense. Just cut that out and play ABC. You're going to be good enough to beat everybody on your schedule, not named Clemson and Florida. You might need him to make some special plays against Clemson and Florida. I don't know that you need that against anybody else on the schedule.
Yeah, that's an easy thing to point out in film, though. I mean, that's stuff that you don't even need the all-22s for. That was apparent to anybody who watched it on television, because when I went back and saw it on television after being there, I was like, oh, man, you can even see that on the screen. Yeah. Like, I mean, sometimes you can't.
Right.
Like, man, dude, you got a first down right there. You had 2 people you could throw to right here. Why the hell are you making that decision?
Yeah.
He's also got to stop missing wide open throws. I mean, he's got to easy again for the second week in a row.
Squirrel White. He doesn't like Squirrel White.
Squirrel White are not simpatico, because, man, that may be a 75-yard play.
No, there's no doubt about it. But then that's
frustrating.
Look, as we talked about, every quarterback misses throws, all of them. He's missed a couple pretty back-breaking ones, but he also, I mean, he makes great plays too.
You're going to get.
It's what you get.
I mean,
you get. So you can't just dismiss the great stuff he does because he misses the other stuff. There are no perfect quarterbacks. And he's not a perfect quarterback, so he's going to make some. He's going to make some bad throws.
And it's just my concern
is the decision making that bothers me. 100%.
Right? And after the game, when he goes in and tells the team, "This was on me. This is on my shoulders," that gives me the thought that that he feels like this team is going to win or lose without him. And to some degree, that's true. But man, you can't have him with that mindset. They've got enough playmakers. You have guys that can make plays. He does not have to feel like he has to be the guy. Again, he had 61 at bats in that game. 45 passes. He dropped back over 50 times. Now, I know the game flow determined that.
Yeah, the fourth quarter.
But still, man, they have to, and I think this is where Gus can help him, is on some of those situations, man, when you're behind the chains, we may just need to punt here. Like, we may need to just try to get some yards back and play field position as opposed to trying to score a touchdown on every drive. So, again, there's more to it that I think from a mindset, they've got to help him.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Picture this. It's midnight and you're lying in bed, scrolling through this new website you found, hitting the Add to Cart button on that item you've been looking for. After 15 minutes, you decide you've done enough damage to your wallet and decide to check out. But you remember that your wallet or credit card is in the living room, and you don't want to get out of bed to go get it. Just as you're getting ready to abandon your cart, that's when you see it. That purple shop button. That shop button that has all of your payment and shipping information saved, saving you time while you stay warm in your bed. That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes everything easier, from checkout to creating your own storefront. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Mattel and Seminole headlines to brands just getting started. Shopify gives you that leg up from day one with hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates to express your brand style and forget about all the code. Tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. Spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools to find and keep new customers. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/warchant. Go to shopify.com/warchant. Shopify.com/warchant.
You sure don't want to have to think about whether everybody's going to be comfortable. You want Tony Kelly to make sure everybody's comfortable. That's what Tony Kelly does, and that's what's most important for the entire Tony Kelly team. Their prompt, professional service and attention to detail, they're famous for it. Focus on what's most important to you and let Tony Kelly Heating and Air keep everybody comfortable.
Stay comfortable and stay focused on the most important things with Tony Kelly Heating and Air, committed to serving you and your family with exceptional service, skilled technicians, and reliable high-quality work. Go to TonyKellyInc.com to find their full range of HVAC services, including repairs, installations, inspections, and maintenance. TonyKellyInc.com or call 850-385-3774.
On the front lines, fighting the insanity of the woke, it's Matt and Brett Doster with America in View.
Matt, Florida has become the world leader for freedom, and I love being in the studio with you every week where we are reinforcing the conservative movement with truth, the Constitution, and a little redneck common sense. We're waking the woke.
That's right, Brett. We enjoy talking politics and what's going on in the world. We're bringing our take on the issues, doing our best to fight for freedom.
So tune in every Friday at 4 p.m. on Real Talk 93.3.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
So I am curious if you think they'll be able to rein Tommy in or get his emotions in check or understanding the balance that he needs to have. I would think so. The one thing that concerns you is, I said yesterday, Pitt is top 5 in the country in tackles for loss. We all know Narduzzi. He's going to bring a ton of people, oftentimes 6, sometimes 7. I mean, they bring a lot of guys. So if you're trying to, make more plays than are there or not take what's given to you, you can get behind the chains quickly. We know this offense does not perform well behind the chains. Most offenses don't, but this one in particular because they don't have much of a drop back pass game. So I am curious to see what they incorporate on Saturday to make sure that he's measured in the approach and understanding hero ball is not what we need out of you.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be interesting because his numbers against the blitz are not very good. And they're going to get blitzed a lot constantly.
Yeah, but I took it the other way when he came in and apologized to the team, and then in the press conference apologized to everybody that was listening, fans and alumni and former players. Maybe that was the lesson. Maybe that was the lesson he learned. Not that everything is on his shoulders, but not everything is on his shoulders, and he does have players around him. And quit making boneheaded plays that give the ball to the other team. Like if he can just cut that out, I mean, I don't think they beat Miami either way, with or without turnovers necessarily, but they didn't give themselves a chance. And they would have beaten Virginia. They'd be 4-1 right now, ranked 9th in the country. If he would just, but I say that, he's also making a lot of plays, and he's the reason they can run the ball against everybody not named Miami.
No, I agree with that.
So there's a presence he has
Yeah.
that can't be overlooked because he does make some mistakes in the passing game.
I agree 100%. I'm not trying to say that Tommy is the full problem, because you would find out. People would find out pretty quickly if he wasn't back there. What now? Maybe Sperry proves he's that dynamic as a runner.
Not against
too.
Miami on a Saturday night. He would.
No, but you'd see what the running game looks like without him back there. So I think his contributions are huge. That's why I think the help needs to come from the coaching staff.
Yeah, man. It ain't on you, Tommy.
And going back to the 1st and 5 at Virginia, and this is me living in the past. But again, you don't need to. I don't think you need to run your normal offense there to have a play where it's an RPO and a pass option. It's like, man, you know. How about just calling a designed run, like where you're taking the decision out of him? I think they have to coach around him to some degree. You'd like to not have to, but this is the reality. You guys signed up for this. You knew what Tommy was. And so they need to do things to coach proactively to kind of save him from himself, I think, in some situations.
The big indicator that he's pushing and trying too hard to make something that's not there is, we talk about the mistakes in the passing game. He's really made quite a few mistakes lately in terms of, keep or give.
Yeah.
A lot of big mistakes there. I mean, and
he had some in the Virginia game too.
Yeah, he did. And we brought that up, but it got overlooked because some of the other stuff. Right. But there was some early in this game where he really made the wrong decision, and you thought, or at least it looks like it to me, we don't know based on their rules, but to me, it was pretty obvious he made the wrong decision there. And I thought, that's not a good sign. He's trying to make sure that the play is made by him in that moment. And that
doesn't have to be selfish. I don't know, because
I don't think it's selfish. No,
it's more of
too hard.
Yeah, it's more of a I believe in myself more than I do in anybody else, and I can make this play. It's why you make that throw on 1st and 10. I mean, that's where I think they need to help him. Now, you can look at it and say, well, man, he's 4 years into his college career. This is who he is. You're not going to be able to change that. Well, I don't know, because he's never had to play with stakes. That first year at Boston College, the second year at Boston College, I mean, they're never playing for meaningful games against the other.
Nobody's watching.
Right. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And it's not do or die. And you can't. To me, it's like being on a bad basketball team and they don't value the ball. It's the same thing. And if you're playing for games that mean something, you have to value the football. And he doesn't do it. But it could be learned, possibly. I don't know. It's late in his career. But I do think there are things you could do to help him. You got to stay ahead of the chains. Whatever they can do in that regard is huge, man. They just don't have the margin for error to get behind the chains with him at quarterback in this system.
No, and we knew that coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to run Gus's system, there are some pluses. There's some real minuses too. I mean, everybody's kind of, got an opinion about Gus. I'm lukewarm on him in general. But there is a way that you have to play, and Tommy is perfectly suited to run this offense. And so you understand that. You're like, okay, well, they're going for it. They're all in. But one of the principles with that is you cannot be trying to play games where you're out of touch. When you're down 14-3, you're almost out of touch at that point. You may be out of the game. It felt that way, but that's because Miami's good.
Well, and this is where I do put a huge emphasis on the turnovers, because those deficits were caused by his interceptions.
Right. But then
in both games.
The interception he threw to Squirrel in the end zone against Miami, they're down 21-3 when he makes that throw.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's 7-3, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But he's pressing because they're down 21-3, and the offense has looked like garbage for 4 straight drives or 5 straight drives or whatever.
Yeah, no, you can't. You got to stay in touch, and then you got to stay ahead of the chains too, and then that's where you can run tempo and you can do the things that you want to do.
And that's where the one thing with the Alabama game, my one pause about that game, and I'm not trying to diminish what they did, but that game laid out exactly how FSU how it's currently constructed needed it to play
has to
out.
win.
They needed to be ahead. They needed to stay ahead of the chains, which they did that entire game. They needed to get the crowd into it, which they did. Alabama, the way they played at the line of scrimmage, having Simpson try to make line checks and slide protections and all that at the line of scrimmage with the crowd was a disaster. Miami didn't ask Carson Beck to do any of that. I think that was big.
Isn't it strange, to your point? That's exactly right, Ira. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I would just say this. Kalen DeBoer had Alabama poorly prepared
100%.
to play the game against Florida State.
Did not respect the opponent or the venue
at all. And Mario Cristobal and his staff did a great job. Miami was composed. They had an answer for Florida State's effort to stop the run. They knew coming in Florida State was going to sell out to stop the run. They had those screens set up and those shot plays set up. They didn't make Carson come to the line and do anything with all that noise. To your point, I mean, that was a really well-coached Miami team until sort of the end of the game when they have guys jumping at onside kicks that aren't even going to go 10 yards.
Tackling dudes into the stands.
Yeah, stupid stuff like that. But, yeah, I mean, other than that, they really were well-prepared compared to Alabama.
And they had the bye week, which certainly helped. And again, I think I mentioned this last night in the Spanish, but, Mario in his press conference after the game said that there were things that they identified in their first 3 or 4 games there were problem areas, and then having that bye week, they really addressed a lot of them and had some of their best days of practice. So I think Florida State got the best of Miami. So that was my point, is like Florida State got Alabama probably in their worst moment, not prepared, not well prepared for that game, and on the road, first time starting quarterback, all those things. And the game played out the way they needed it to. This was the exact opposite. They didn't get Miami's worst shot. They got Miami's best shot after a bye week. And the game didn't play out the way they needed it to. They needed to get the crowd involved. And the crowd was not a factor because Miami took the lead, and Florida State's busy turning the football over.
Miami's got good players on defense. They can take away Tommy's legs and make him a passer. Any team on our schedule that is capable, maybe nobody is, but Miami certainly was. Once that happens, you're in trouble. You're in real trouble.
Yeah, and I would say this, going back to Tommy and just the offense as a whole, man. Like, look, it was a bad 3 quarters. This is a good offense. You can't argue with it. It's a good offense.
I think we're going to see that in these next few weeks.
It's a good offense. And coming from where you came from is almost a modern miracle to be this good on offense after what we saw last year. But there are some limitations it's going to have. Most offenses do. Coming off 2-10 with a whole new staff and not loading your roster with NFL guys, you're going to have some limitations. But you look at that offensive line, I don't know if any of those guys are going to play in the league. I don't know if any of these running backs are good enough to play in the league. In fact, I think it's just a pretty good group. Nothing special in that running back room except maybe Cromwell in a year or two. Yeah. But they're averaging over 200 yards a game rushing. They did not run against Miami, but they also got behind by so much. I think so much of that has to do with the quarterback and the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach. And it's like, man, if they can just find some confidence and realize that, okay, you had a bad 2 hours against Miami, who makes everybody look bad and who will make all offenses look bad for the most part, you can rebound and have a really good, fun season. The season's not over. It's just
well, you got to win the games,
but you worry about the confidence level, and that's the biggest issue I have with this head coach for his career, not just this season, is like I don't understand why they progressively get worse as the season goes on offensively. Even in 2023, that offense looked nothing like it did in Orlando. Nothing.
I think you're a little bit jaded by last season to be as worried about the confidence as you are, because I do think they walked off that field thinking, man, we can play with those guys.
I hope so. That's what I hope so. Yeah.
I think that's true, and it sounds like from what we've heard, we just talked to Chris Thompson, the tight ends coach, and he said today was an excellent practice.
I don't get a sense that they're lacking confidence, Corey.
Good.
I don't.
Because
I don't get that sense.
But you do understand that it's happened.
That's definitely happened last season.
And it happened in 2022 and it happened in 2023.
Well, I don't think they believed in the quarterback last year. And I think once they started losing, all bets were off.
I do think they believe in this guy.
I think they believe. I think they know he's going to play hard and he's going to play, and he gives them a chance.
Yeah.
I don't think it's confidence. I mean, they're lacking in some areas that, it's going to take time to build back up through recruiting. But I don't think they're lacking confidence. And you're not playing Miami this weekend, you're playing Pitt.
Right.
I mean, you ought to be, if you don't move the ball now, then you have a problem in your locker room. You got a problem with your head coach. That'd be more heat he's going to take at that point, because that would be inexcusable. They played really hard at the end of that game.
Yeah.
At no point have they showed any fight.
Some fight,
again,
man.
And again, I think those were empty yards. 188 of those yards were whatever. But it beats the hell out of the alternative, and it's certainly different than a year ago.
Right.
So they're going to keep playing hard. I don't see it quit in them. If they don't, well, then you have your answer.
Right. Well, and I don't anticipate that. If it does, then it comes to pass, then that's something we have to address at the time. And FSU fans will make their voices known for sure. I guess my thing is, when you look at this team, the turnovers are such a big deal though, man, because you can't, they can't get behind. Yeah. They can't get behind. And so when you give up points and you're I'm not going to say you're sunk, but they're in deep trouble if they get down 2 scores. And the way they get down 2 scores is by turning the football over. So, I mean, they have to fix that. It's not, I know to your point, it's not a ton of interceptions, but at the timing, when you're down in the red zone, you have to cash in that first drive, not getting a touchdown. Dominic Robinson brought this up last night on the Smash. that D-Rob came on the Smash, and he brought up
Deuce Robinson's father, Dominic.
Correct.
Yeah.
Does some stuff for Warchant occasionally, Corey.
Yeah. He thought he kind of wished maybe they'd gone for it on 4th down because
somebody brought that up to me yesterday.
At his point,
if you're going to go for on 4th and 8 at the 41 the next quarter, why wouldn't you? Even if you don't get it, they have the ball at their 5.
Well, and his biggest point was, man, how many chances are you going to get down there against that defense?
That's fair.
So
that's always baked into the 4th down math, by the way, even in analytics where people get mad at it. It's like, how many times are you going to be inside the 30? How many times are you going to be inside the 20? Right.
I will say this, and again, I'm not defending Tommy. A couple of those throws are indefensible. I think the 2 biggest turnovers they've had each of the last 2 weeks were by running backs fumbling at midfield.
They were huge.
The Kromoff fumble is a backbreaker. So is the Salchek fumble to give them life and give them a touchdown right out of the gate when you've gotten 2 straight stops. Quit doing that, man. These are not vicious hits, man. Hold on to the ball.
No, the fumbles are a huge
especially because your defense apparently just is going to go the whole season without creating a fumble, so you quit fumbling to them.
Well, and you're not special. You're not getting special play at running back. Like, you can live with it maybe occasionally if you've got like a special talent who also, it's Barry Sanders.
Dalvin would fumble.
Yeah. But you can't be just kind of decent and also be fumbling.
Yeah, it's frustrating when you see it too, because to Corey's point, they haven't been like devastating hits or a helmet on the ball, or
it's mostly been trying to
get extra
yards. Which
I appreciate Kromoff for that, by the way. He's never going to go down easy, but he's got to learn to hold on to the ball.
That was ridiculous.
And he's such a strong guy, and he's going to stay on his feet. One person rarely can bring him down, but man, they're coming for the ball.
Same high school.
They're coming for the ball. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
A dog attack on Sunday in Tallahassee sent 1 child to the hospital. According to Tallahassee police, the attack happened on Volusia Street a little after 12:30 p.m. A young child was attacked by 2 dogs and taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The Leon County Sheriff's Office reported the death of an inmate on Saturday. Officials said Jesse Wampler, 46, was booked into the Leon County Detention Facility on Friday on drug trafficking charges. On Saturday, Wampler reportedly had a medical emergency, was taken to the Yes Care Medical Unit. Wampler was pronounced dead at around 3 p.m. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is conducting an investigation. Officials said no foul play is suspected. The medical examiner's office will conduct an autopsy. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 90. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear again tonight. Slight chance of rain showers. Lows level off around 69. Tomorrow, high of 90. High of 86 Thursday with a slight chance for storms. 86 Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 81.
Florida man, you're all crooked again. What did you do to yourself this time?
Well, we were tailgating before the big game and I had to defend Hank's honor. Some guy saw him wearing his gold chain and said, "Nice Gator fan." Can you believe that? Hank is a Seminole, thank you very much. But it all went downhill during Flip Cup. Hank was losing bad, and the guy starts heckling. He says, "Figures a Gator fan can't flip." The next thing I know, Hank's all over the table and going for the guy's throat. I tried to break it up. I grabbed the keg to end the chaos, and bam, my back went out like a lawn chair in a hurricane. I didn't even make it to the game.
Let me guess, Hank went without you.
Yep, stormed the field after the win.
At Finn Chiropractic, they'll get to the root of your pain and deliver the solutions. Book your appointment online at finchiro.com, and you'll even get an online discount. Visit finchiro.com today and find your path to a pain-free tomorrow.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
David Bardstown contributed to the cause, asking if Sark and Texas has fallen off the wagon.
That's a rough go
nice
for them.
Wording. Got a problem with the quarterback position right now.
On their offensive line.
Yeah,
Their
you're seeing
offensive line's
some
problem.
things there. It's interesting. You go back to the beginning of the season with that Ohio State win over Texas. Now you're kind of like,
how was that? Was that impressive?
Yeah. So,
but then Ohio State, they beat Minnesota by 40 or something.
well, their defense is
Their defense is
very
really
good.
good.
They've got 6-7 guys that are going to go in the first 2 rounds. So I mean,
But yeah, that
they
game-
hide their quarterback is what they do.
We definitely can put that game in a completely different prism.
Just like you can the LSU Clemson game.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we're doing that with a lot of these games now. That's why they play. And we, right now, some people are doing that with the Florida State-Alabama game. They want to see what is Florida State. Alabama's gone on to have a good season. The kid keeps getting better at quarterback. We'll see if Florida State bounces back now. They have to. I mean, you should beat up Pitt. I was surprised by that number, 10.5, though.
Well, it was 9.5. It started at 9.5, so it's gone up some.
Kind of surprised by that.
I would, I just think when you look at college football, like let's say Florida State finishes, like if the Bucks are 9-3 after 12 games,
Well, I'd be really pleased.
right? And I know it's a different sport, but it's not that much different anymore.
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was just thinking about that. Like, man, if the Falcons got to 9-3, I'd be like, buddy, this is awesome. What a great season. We could win the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, with 3 losses, Florida State's not going to get a chance to play for a championship, nor do I think they're good enough to win a national championship. But it's like the prism we see seasons in college football.
It's changing.
We're still kind of married to what it was before this era. And if we back off and kind of appreciate just being in the hunt and hoping that you're 10-2, 11-1 and get a chance.
You better be in the hunt.
But not every loss is a referendum on the program.
Right.
Because it can't be anymore. Like, again, Penn State might win a national championship this year. Probably not. Probably ain't going to get a chance.
You're not going to be able to convince anybody that it's okay to lose to a winless UCLA team.
If they beat Ohio State, they'll be in the playoff. Now, that's a pretty big if.
I'm going to guess they don't.
Me too. Me too. But maybe this is what they needed to
certain track record of
flush the
James
demons.
Franklin suggests they will not win that game.
Yeah, but he had never lost to a winless team either, so he's trying to switch the mojo around.
And I know what you're saying, but it's
Texas
somewhere,
too, though, like Texas and
right. It's somewhere in between the competition and and the format, the playoff format, everything. It's definitely different from what it used to be.
Sure.
So you are going to have to. It's going to be hard to go undefeated or 1 loss in college football. And look at last year's playoff. How many of those teams had multiple losses? But
the national champion had multiple losses, right?
But at the same,
lost to Michigan. Did they lose to anybody else?
I thought they had 2.
I thought they lost 2 games.
I could be wrong. Losing 1.
Yeah, you're right.
But either way, we understand that has changed. But you also have more gimmies than you do in the NFL. There are more wins.
Yeah. You're really 1-2. You're 1-2 right now.
Yeah, there are no East Texas A&Ms in pro football. Yeah,
and barely any Wake Forest.
Yeah, that's correct.
Especially in their first year. So that's a game at home that you got to win. So again, they've got to get out of their own way. The problem is, I don't know if you look at the totality of these 5 games to come out of it being 3-2, it's not an embarrassment. Now,
it was almost kind of expected.
Going into the year,
August 15th.
Well, we had the Alabama loss, and the Miami loss. And the Miami loss.
If you thought
problem is you beat Alabama.
Yeah, if you thought you're an 8-4 team, you're thinking Alabama, Miami, Clemson, and Florida are probably your 4 losses. Yeah. Maybe you beat one of them, but lose to somebody else. But that's kind of what you're thinking. So you're thinking probably 3-2. But it's just that Alabama game changed the expectations, and you also didn't play well against Miami. That's the the biggest indictment. Why I understand why people are mad. Because those first 3 quarters were pretty gross.
You sitting there in the stands at 28-3 is tough.
And you've got defensive guys, apparently, from what they're saying, and it makes sense. Well, it's either one or the other. Either your DBs aren't athletic enough to match up with their receivers, or you are lined up improperly, which is what they're saying. And it could have been both.
That's a toughie. I mean, because the week after having said that you were misaligned, it's frustrating to hear that you're still misaligned.
In different ways, though. I think last week it was more about the defensive front. This week it was more about secondary.
Yeah, I think they got ran past a few times.
I think that's part of it.
I think they got straight
I feel like that guy's
past.
the truth, too.
I think they
like
got
he's a really good football player.
I think they got a couple of good football players.
Yeah, we're watching one of the plays, and Corey's like, the flea flicker. And it's like, well, Edwin Joseph's out there covering that guy. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if Edwin Joseph can cover that guy.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't. No. But my point was they brought in 3 safeties because they were expecting a shot play. They weren't expecting a flea flicker. But even Earl Little and probably Kirkland, maybe it was Shaheem, shot up. To try to stop the run.
Earl blew it there too. Yeah.
But Edwin is still there looking at him, knowing that's my assignment, Edwin just didn't have anything to do. He couldn't do anything about it. Like that guy was just ran by him and threw him.
Jerry had a couple tough days at the office here, boys. We got Jerry's going to have to.
You think Brian Kelly called Mario and told him he liked the flea flicker?
With the flicker.
The flea flicker.
I saw that flicker on Saturday. Yes, I did. Just a voicemail.
Yeah.
I saw the flicker.
Hey,
do you call it that down there?
How y'all talk?
Up here in the bayou, we call it the flicker. You might still say flea.
Hey, Gus tried a couple. They didn't work out, but he tried them.
Stop. He slow his roll on that too. By the way, some of those are like that's just
you got
nonsense.
And you also have to establish more to play off
to be able to do it. Yeah, no, it's a little frustrating.
I just think after this game, I that's why I kept pointing everything towards Pitt, is because if you win that game, you're fine. You're 4-2. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
There's no panic in the street. There's no panic. You're on your way, probably, hopefully, to being 6-2, and this has turned into a fun, nice, good little season, which is all you kind of were hoping for after disaster. The Alabama game changed things. I get it. But still, when you look around the country, if you're 6-2 going to Clemson, you're going to be 17th in the country. And if you win that game, you are absolutely in the playoff hunt. Now, you might not, they might keep you out, but you are absolutely still in the playoff hunt. If you lose to Pitt, but you might be looking for a new coach in 2 months.
So
that's how important the thing is, because I think if they lose to Pitt,
they're in trouble.
They can lose. They're definitely going to lose to Clemson and Florida, and they might lose to NC State.
Well, they may lose to Clemson and Florida anyhow.
Right.
But what I would tell you is that, yes, there are levels to this concern of which we speak. If you lose to Pitt, now we're at DEFCON, whatever.
Yes, 5 or 1.
Is it 1 or 5? I can never remember.
I think 1 is when you're in real trouble. Like you got to start lining up the nukes.
I never remember which
in
direction.
war games, I think they go down to. Maybe they go
original War Games is fantastic.
Is there another one?
Yeah, they remade it.
Oh, really?
Of course they did, Corey.
I didn't know that. Dabney Coleman. That was a great movie.
That was a great
Ali
movie.
Sheedy looking like Ali Sheedy.
Yeah, it's all good. Anyhow.
Matthew Broderick looking like Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
He still looks exactly like Matthew Broderick. But anyhow, so that's a different level of, now we're panicking. Now we may have to fire the guy. You lose
because you'd be on your way to
another one of these.
Yeah, you don't now. Right now, as it is right now, I think 2 weeks ago, a lot of us started thinking, okay, you might win at Clemson, you might win in Gainesville. Yeah. Right now, it's like I don't know. I don't know about those games. Well, if you start losing more games,
then you can't.
You're not going on the road.
You're stacking those 2 losses on top of these other dumb losses, and now you got 6 losses.
Yeah,
and yikes!
Now you got to move on. But that said, right, you win this game, then the next referendum is the Clemson game. And we see now Syracuse is terrible. They got housed again.
Man.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah.
And
they did lose their quarterback, but I don't know that he made that much difference.
And for them to now have gone into Clemson and whoop their ass, now you can't then go into Clemson and get your ass whipped. Right. It's like the next big moment for him this year, if you take care of business in these 3 games that you're about to be heavily favored in all, unless
double digit, you would think in all 3.
The next one is Clemson, and how do you do that?
So all right. So there's been a lot of talk since the game. You guys talked about it yesterday. You guys talked about it on Wake Up, and I've said it as well. The Miami's a better team. So I think some people they are. I don't feel like it's a different league.
No,
and I don't think Florida State is like. I think that this team can be a good team. And I think that's the frustrating thing where I'm at right now, where people are acting like, I feel like some people are acting like there's not progress. I think this could be still a really good team. I think that Miami game just played out exactly how they needed it to not play out.
I don't think you're
so it exacerbated.
Miami's not 22 points better than you.
That's my point.
They're not. They're better than you.
Right.
But they're not 22 points or 25 points, I guess, was what the spread was then. They're not that much better than you.
They played well. You played poorly. That's how that happened. You said yesterday on your show, they played 5 times. Miami beats them 5 times. It's probably true. At least 4 probably.
Yeah,
but they're not up 28-3 in all of them. That game played out particularly poorly. If you cash in your
chips early,
just like the Alabama game played out exactly how they needed it to play out.
If that Florida State team had shown up, the one that played Alabama, that's a 4th quarter game, and who knows how it goes. Like I don't think that. So the talent disparity isn't such that you're just hoping to be in the game with Miami. If you play well, you could beat Miami. You just played like absolute garbage.
And so it's not out of the question to win at Clemson or Florida.
Of course not.
Certainly not. I mean, goodness gracious, it better not be. I mean, Clemson has some woeful losses. The one thing I would say is where I think Florida State is too far behind Miami right now. Now, we'll see if they rectify it. But the lines of scrimmage are a problem. I mean, Miami's offensive line is a lot better than Florida State's offensive line, and Miami's defensive line is better than Florida State's defensive line.
But that's their strength. And they're going to have an advantage just about everybody they play against.
And that was smart of the way that he built it. Yeah. But I believe, and that's just my opinion, that every team should be built that way. Like, you should start there. And that's where I get mad that they have to wholesale recruit a new offensive line.
It's been a disaster,
but
I will.
It's ridiculous.
But don't you feel okay about the defensive line if this thing stays intact for the next 2 years?
Yeah, I like the Desir
and I like Kevin Wynn can be something.
I like Kevin Wynn.
And I think Knighton and White are
Amari
a nice
Williams
combination. And Amari Williams could be something. Like, they are building it how they should have built it 3 years ago.
Should have built it from
but now we're relitigating something that was a mistake
I'm just
3
saying,
yees ago.
It gets exposed in a game like this.
Sure.
The light shines brightest on that, and you are able to say, like, come on, Mike, you can't lose your starting right tackle and then go, well, we don't have another tackle.
Well,
we have to throw Rizzi out there or move Medley.
You move Medley to tackle, right?
What the hell are
against
we doing?
Reuben Bain.
Like, why?
Well, here's the thing, though. And I agree with that.
Great point.
At the beginning of the show, I was, trying to lay out why some of the criticisms I don't like. 100%. If Mike Norvell ends up getting fired, whether it's this year or next year, if it's a failure, it's because of recruiting, but also that offensive line situation. Whatever he let Alex Atkins do with that offensive line, recruiting kids and then letting them leave because you kept portaling over them. And now those kids are all starting all over the country, not developing a soul.
Not a soul.
That is going to be, you let that happen. You were the head coach. Yeah, if this falls apart,
that's 100% why he'll get fired.
That's going to be why.
Well, and also you could say if Tommy keeps and I think he's been a net positive this season easily. Yeah. But if he's a net negative again in another couple of big games, it's like, okay, well, why did you have to go get him? It's because you haven't been able to recruit or develop a quarterback at all on your own. You know what I mean? Like, you just
the ones you have recruited, you didn't develop, right?
And they weren't any good when you got them out there. So that's a problem too. But not as big a problem because who does develop their own quarterbacks anymore? Mario doesn't. Right. He just goes and pays for him and gets NFL guys. Yeah, he goes and gets NFL guys.
But you can do it if you are loaded up front and you're going to protect them. I mean, Carson,
it makes you attractive.
It's a wonderful place to go. I'm going to be protected. I'm going to have a run game behind me. I've got good tight ends. I mean, I'm not going to get hit. This is going to work out all right.
What would you pay for Malachi Toney? Not only are you you get him on your team for next year, but you take him from your rival.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you pay him Carson Beck money?
No, I'm not paying a receiver $4 million.
Man, you get Malachi Toney and Jeremiah Smith. A quarterback would crawl to Florida State to come play.
And on the other side.
And if these guys weren't misaligned, they would have hawked them down in no time.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
It's all misalignment.
Hour number 2, headliner questions headed your way. Hang in.
Competition is scared. Why? Because J.D. Power named Nissan, not Toyota, #1 in new vehicle quality among all mainstream brands. And all 2025 Nissan midsize SUVs have 0% interest for 60 months and up to $5,000 cash back. Kraft Nissan in Tallahassee.
Pinch A Penny Pools has 12,000 square feet of hot tubs, over 20,000 gallons of tub capacity to choose from. That's 4,620,000 cubic inches of hot tubs. But if you don't want to take my word for it, check them out yourself. Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, locally owned, and the easiest way to find relaxation at home.
What makes Paul's Termite and Pest Control the best in North Florida?
It's our core values, of course, and they happen to spell Paul's.
P, protecting you and your pets from pests and your property from termites. A, accept personal responsibility. At Paul's, we realize it's up to us to get things right and strive to do more than's expected.
U, uphold company values. Those values include treating others with respect and understanding we represent Paul's Pest Control on and off the clock.
L, look the part. As representatives of this great company, we will always make sure that our image matches the character of Paul's.
S, support the team. Every job we do is a total team effort to create a supportive workplace.
P, protecting you, your pets, and your property. A, accept personal responsibility. U, uphold company values. L, look the part. S, support the team. Paul's core values. They make us the best.
For the elimination of termites and other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Tired of watching baseball score updates on your phone? Get off the bench and head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is your home for all MLB games in-state or nationwide. Enjoy the coldest drinks, Tallahassee's best wings, and watch your team in crystal clear comfort. And if you'd like to compete, come by Tuesday nights for CP Trivia and Thursday nights for Beer Bingo, where you can walk home with cold, hard cash. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
You're listening to Seminole Headlines with Ira, Corey, and Jeff. Stay tuned for more headlines coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
The losing streak to the Kansas City Chiefs has ended. Trevor Lawrence with a 1-yard touchdown with 23 seconds remaining as the Jaguars beat Kansas City 31-28 to end the 8-game losing streak to the Chiefs. The 4-1 Jaguars are a 1.5 favorite against Seattle at home on Sunday at Everbank Stadium. The total 46.5. College football Saturday, Florida Gators 7.5-point road favorites at Texas A&M, 44.5 the total. Florida State laying 9.5 against Pitt at Doak Campbell Stadium, 58.5 the total. UCF a 10.5-point road dog at Cincinnati. Score $500 in rewards with the GBank First Bet VSiN Trifecta. Details at vsin.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Ooh, what was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to handle the busy holiday season, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Craving something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food. It's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín. Authentic Peruvian. Right around the corner.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
It's time for Seminole Headlines featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, headliner questions heading your way here on Seminole Headlines.
That was a throaty hour number 2.
I was feeling it. I was excited about these questions.
You're going to bring it no matter what.
Like every week, it's what I do. This guy's up and down. Sometimes he's here. Sometimes he's not here. You never really know what you're going to get, but I control what I can control.
Exactly.
Mike Norvell would be proud of me.
Yeah.
Jimbo would be proud of me. Play the next play, Corey.
Yeah, and respond.
Can
you respond?
Can you respond to the adversity?
Yep.
Birch Orthodontics, that just no matter what.
Well, they don't ever have adversity because it's always sky high,
rock
flying.
solid. But when they saw Clark walk through the door, they were like, there's adversity here.
That's when they went to DEFCON 1.
Adversity has walked in the building.
Did we look it up?
I did not look it up now while Ira's
doing it. You always look things up.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on,
my
buddy.
fault.
Let's go.
Yeah, the key for Dr. Birch has been learning how to handle success.
That's right.
Because she's got plenty of practice over the last 20 plus years.
Well done, Ira.
Thank you. Yeah. Dr. Birch and her staff, exceptional business, exceptional operation in terms of the customer service, the work that they do, the finest techniques, latest techniques. All of our kids have gone there. A lot of our friends' kids have gone there, and you should too. If anybody in your family needs orthodontic work, go to birchorthodontics.com is the website, BURCH orthodontics.com. And they have free consultations, they have payment plans, they make it as simple as possible, and they do tremendous work. And it's never DEFCON.
Yeah. So for the people that don't know, I only know it from war games, but it's defense readiness condition is DEFCON. It's about nuclear war. DEFCON 5 is normal readiness. You're just ready. You're just monitoring.
Everything's cool. 1 is the problem.
DEFCON 1 is nuclear war is imminent or has begun.
We've got an issue.
It's already begun.
That's why it was in war games.
Yes. Yeah. So DEFCON. DEFCON 1 is what they were when Clark walked in.
All right. So hold on. What happens to Mike if he loses decisively to Pitt on Saturday? Is that DEFCON 1 or 2?
It's 2.
It's 2.
It's 2. You can
is
still.
It 2 or is it,
you can
he
still.
It's 1.
If they lose
decisively
40-14.
Decisively is what the wording changed things for Ira.
DEFCON 1 makes it sound like he's fired.
Well,
I don't think he's fired.
No, but you mean literally on the spot. We're talking about you're a dead man walking if you lose on Saturday.
Not if you rebound and win the rest of your games. Not if you rebound and win the rest of your game. I'm just saying.
No, man.
You can have some talks. As long as the missiles aren't in the air, you can talk them down.
Okay.
You can talk them down. So you can still go out and beat Stanford. If you lose to Stanford, you might just stay in Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Just stay out there.
It's
a really pretty place.
I've been there. It's beautiful. I would say that if, I said decisively, and that's when Ira raised an eyebrow.
Yeah, decisively is tough.
Decisively, we got an issue.
Yeah.
Like, what if we're sitting there? Now, I don't think it's going to happen.
I think we should ask questions.
But what if we're sitting there on Saturday?
I can't even formulate that thought in my brain.
What if it's 28-3?
Again.
Late third quarter.
Yeah.
DEFCON 1, Corey.
Well, what if they come back and score 19 points in the fourth quarter?
19 unanswered.
Build something to the Stanford game.
DEFCON 1,
fourth quarter team.
Yes, nuclear war is imminent.
I like all of this right off the bat here. We're pretty solid out the gates, guys. Jay Knoll writes, gents, we have a glaring talent disparity with Miami. How many of FSU starters would start for Miami? Maybe 3? Who can Norvell?
On the whole team?
Well, I mean, none of our offensive line is starting for their offensive line.
You could. I bet. Is their center awesome? I think your center's really good. I think maybe your center could have started.
Neither of your ends are going to.
Your defensive tackle is.
Your tight end might.
I don't know if their safeties are great. I don't know what their corners are.
Saw one of them. Really good.
He kind of got thrown to him.
No, but he had a great game. Period.
He did.
He was everywhere.
Yeah.
Their linebackers are better than your linebackers. Come on now. Anyhow, the question's not unfair. The point he's asking here at the end is, who can Norvell hire to make sure he turns around high school recruiting? It's going to cost him his job otherwise. And we were just talking about this. Now, you can argue that maybe he's made those hires. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the staff right now has a reputation of being an elite recruiting staff, but it's got to change. There's no doubt he's going to have to do.
Wouldn't you say, though, as you
better.
watch this season,
You got to win a lot of games.
Not that, but like Boggs can play, Cromwell can play, the Desir twins can play.
This
I think
recent
Kevin
class
Wynn
has
can
got
play.
some dudes.
Arnaud can play. Like he's going to be playing a lot more. Like they got guys. Whether you recruit, is it recruiting or is it evaluating? Because it's both, right? But I mean, what does it mean being a good recruiter now? Is it 50 extra K that you give a kid?
It's both.
It's both. But you can't just ignore it.
I know. Florida
know.
State's a top 15 payroll in the country.
So it's about. I think it's about evaluation
and development.
And I think this group of coaches together that in 3 weeks that they were together, maybe 2 weeks, put together a more impactful freshman class than they did the last 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And they had 2 weeks to do it. So maybe you hope moving forward, you trust these guys' evaluation when they've had a whole year to look at these guys in next year's class will be even more impactful, no matter if they're ranked 4th in the country or 14th in the country. I trust these guys in their eyes when it comes to evaluating football players more.
I think it's a better staff for recruiting and evaluation. I do believe that. Whether or not it's Miami's levels, probably not. I mean, Mario, that's his thing.
That's what he does.
That's what he brings to the table. And then you mix him with the bankroll that they've got for NIL. It's a factor. I mean, you can't ignore that. Now, Florida State spends too, but I will argue forever that you're not going to outspend Miami or come close to it. They have some people with some really deep pockets, not just the Ruiz guy, who are committed to them being good in every sport they can. And I think they'll push the limits as far as they have to be successful. And that's not a shot at them. This is the world we live in. And I don't know if Florida State's ever going to be there. I mean, that's a real conversation. I know you've brought this up during the summer and, people felt like you're being overly negative. But the question is, are you going to – if this is the world we're going to live in, and we'll see if the revenue sharing changes the playing field.
There's supposed to be rules about
this. We'll see.
It's
supposed to.
But if it's not, I mean, the reality is some of these other schools are going to spend whatever it takes to be successful. I don't know if Florida State's going to be there. But then when you compound it by not being as aggressive as recruiters as the way Mario is,
that's the problem.
It's like puts gas on it.
Yeah,
so
you really got to get better at that.
Yeah. I'm not disputing it. And I also think the evaluations have to be better and they will be better. But are you going to close that gap? I don't know.
I hope you guys are doing well. What are you guys looking forward to the rest of the season besides if they can win out? I've come to believe, this is from J-Rod, that Mike isn't the guy. I really get tired of expectations getting raised and suddenly drop that fast. What do you think happens the rest of the way?
He doesn't like that. He does not. He
doesn't care for being up here and then quickly crashing.
Just want to make sure. Yeah, some people that might be their thing.
Like, hey, what a roller coaster we got going on here, everybody!
You just want to feel something. You just want to feel something.
I don't want to be dead inside like last year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just in the same place I was before the season because that's where they're back at and kind of on serve. I want to see, can they get to 8-4? Can they get to 9-3? Now, honestly, and we've talked about this, that if they do somehow get to 10-2, which nobody thinks is likely, but if they were, those two losses are not going to look bad at all. I think you might get in as an at-large because that's going to look like those are going to be quality losses. Miami is going to be
you're going to have a quality win
paper.
if they let you take credit for it.
So, and you would have wins at Clemson and Florida. So I think Florida State, so that's something to pay attention to. That's not what I'm expecting to happen. But I want to see, can they have a good season, go 8-4, 9-3, and continue building momentum in recruiting, which they do have right now. They have recruited this class coming up. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good class on top of what was a good class last year.
R.A. Knoll writes, gentlemen, Wilson looked like me trying to cover Corey Fuller in high school. If you could add one of peak Timmy Jernigan, Telvin Smith, P.J. Williams, or DeMarcus Walker to this defense, which one would you choose?
All of them.
I'm always going to take Timmy Jernigan because, good God, man.
DeMarcus Walker's last year was pretty incredible.
It was really
last
good.
2 years, really, but that last year was nuts. I don't know, man. Imagine Telvin running around would be nice too.
We haven't had really a very good linebacker since. It's hard not to say Timmy Jernigan. He just wreaked havoc.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't block him. People couldn't block him. That started everything.
He and D-Jack next to each other. And by the way, Daryl Jackson, Tony White was right to bring this up, man. When he got single teamed, he annihilated the people.
No, he's actually having a pretty good year.
He's having a pretty good year. So that's what I'm saying. Like
that's why you put Timmy next to him and
it'd be tough. Yeah. But I was going to say, I don't know. I think your center starts for Miami. because that center got blown the F up by Darrell Jackson when he tried to block him on. I mean, he got pushed 6 yards back into him a couple of times.
Aside.
Yeah. So, but Darrell might do that to Pettibone in practice too. I don't know, but I like Pettibone, and I like this offensive line. That's a tough matchup for every offensive line, what they just went up against.
And then especially when Pettis goes down.
But overall, they played well. I think they played well. They've been good. Considering what we've watched
against
the last
most teams,
against
most teams they play, other than Clemson and Florida, they're going to be just fine on the offensive line this season.
Michael kind of echoes a sentiment we had last hour, which was, look, if you look at the way Miami built the roster, it starts with the offensive defensive lines. We had Atkins, who clearly set us back year over year. Development matters. I feel like we might actually have some, maybe with this new staff and their evaluation and development. That's Michael. You were just saying some of that. Let's hope so. I mean, they got to do better on this offensive line. It is an abomination that you lose your right tackle and you're just effed. Well, I guess we got to throw in a guy who's not a tackle. Because either guy's not. Rizzi's not. He's not. I mean, Medley's not.
Well, and you think about, like, they're going to have to go – if they don't develop guys that are currently on this roster, they're just going to have to go buy a whole nother offensive line next year.
And you're never going to get
what you need. Right, because you got to go spend money on some – you can't go get you can't go get Malachi Toney because you got to go spend on 5 offensive linemen. So if you could just recruit that position better – then you could go get Malachi Toney and Jeremiah Smith.
I'd sink a bunch of money into
Jeremiah
the offensive
Smith
line. I really would.
But right.
Because everything else opens up. All your skill players look a lot better when they've got time to get them the ball. I mean, I just everybody looks good when the quarterback's just standing there, patting the ball, waiting for you to utilize your speed and get open and create distance. Royce writes, what's going to put more pressure on Mike? If Miami wins the ACC and makes a college football playoff run, Florida winning 7 games with that schedule, including a win over Florida State. Neither's good.
Florida winning 7 games, though. I don't think even if he loses to Napier, I don't think 7-win Florida is going to put a ton of pressure on Norvell. Miami looking like that, but then again, it's like, okay, well, who's their quarterback next year? They lose Bain, they lose the other kid, they lose the tackle. Like, is this isn't a one-off because they were pretty good last year, but is this is this tenable?
Well, and I will say this: the one thing that they have, he's recruited well, but they've had a lot of kids transfer out the last couple of years because they got portaled over. I mean, they're doing the same thing to some degree. So we'll see because they have a ton of portal guys.
BFG writes, correct me if I'm wrong. Is Mike biding time until Sperry can take over? It's a small sample size, but the arm seems to be better than Tommy's. Not the running threat that Tommy is for sure, but wouldn't Sperry's skills soften the defense a little bit more?
So real quick, and also my fabled 3-2-1 column, which will be on the website at some point. I brought up this question.
Will it be before the pick game?
Later today.
Okay, good.
I'm excited to hear where this is going because
I think they need to have a clear mindset of, is Tommy a 1-year guy or a 2-year guy?
Yeah.
If he's a 2-year guy, you're riding with him and trying to work through it and all that. If he's a 1-year guy, and I think that's the reason that's up for debate is because there's whether or not the 5-for-5 rule goes into effect. That's one way you get another year back. The other way is if he appeals based on the fact he played in the AAC championship game. That was his 5th year. Since that time, they've changed the rules, so it shouldn't count. So he should get that year back. I feel pretty good that Tommy can get that year back, and I'm hearing that he does want to pursue that year to come back next year. The question is, if he's going to do that, then are you ready to marry yourself to him into next season? And if not, at some point, I do think you have to look at Sperry because
can I add
it's
that?
like at Death Valley. Like, when do you look at him?
Wake Forest?
At some point.
I mean, I get, but then you play Clemson the next week.
I'm not saying you cash in the season, but I think you need to know what you have there.
And we know Gus loves him.
Yes,
I am kind of curious about something. We haven't thought about it, but what if Tommy does continue to press and throws a couple picks early in this game? I mean, at what point do you decide I'm going to let you look at it?
I don't know why you keep bringing up these things that are never going to happen.
Right?
But
they're never going to happen.
Because I actually think there's a scenario where you say, hey, man, we're going to give this guy a series or two just so you can watch it and so he can see that it's not all about him.
Right.
Like if you're at Stanford and Kevin Sperry goes in and has a couple of good drives.
And he's just playing within himself, within the offense.
Running the offense, not trying to be the hero. Maybe that kind of opens his eyes.
I think you guys are crazy. I think Mike Norvell thinks he's coaching for his life, and he's not going to give a couple of series that in a must-win game to a kid that's never played a competitive snap of college football.
I didn't say.
And I'm not saying throwing him out there against Pitt.
I said if
even
Tommy,
Stanford. I mean, it's a road game. I mean, yes, you should beat them by 40 points, but who knows?
I said if Tommy continues to throw picks and press,
yeah,
then you do have to pull.
But
him.
I don't think you just go the rest of the season thinking, okay, we got to get Sperry some work to see what we got. I think they think Tommy is by far their best candidate right now, and this dude is coaching for his life. And yeah, Sperry looks good, and you lose. You're still losing your job, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If that
happens, yeah. And I don't think it's like you're making a change. I think to your point, it's like, Tommy,
come look
settle
at this.
down and watch this.
Breathe, baby.
They did it when Charlie Ward was a redshirt junior. He got pulled for a true freshman, Danny Cannell, just to watch for a series or two, and then got back in. And I don't know if you remember, but he ended up having a pretty good career.
Charlie did?
In basketball. He was a first-round pick. He gave up football. Yeah, he gave up football.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
Stevens writes, Jeff and Corey, care to comment on those 19 unanswered points we dropped on the game?
They were 19 unanswered.
It's both of our pet peeves. He's correctly pointing out. Yeah, it drives me nuts.
And I'll say this, as you pointed out on the wrap, Miami's 28 straight points were answered. Those were answered with authority.
Big time answered. Yeah. They're probably reeling to this moment.
Man, they are. I don't know who they play this next week, but they're reeling.
Look at all those answered points by Florida State.
Just ran out of time.
A few more possessions, guys. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
Is your home ready for anything? At Parker Services AC and Electrical, we do more than just keep you cool. We keep your whole home running smoothly. From AC maintenance and duct cleanings to whole home generator installations, we've got everything you need for comfort and reliability. Join our Peak Performance membership to keep your HVAC system in top shape and catch issues before they turn into costly repairs. And with a reliable generator, you'll never be left in the dark again. Call Parker Services today, where comfort is just a call away.
Parker Services, comfort's just a call away.
Water license number CMC 050334 and EC 1301240.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning. Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
From the team behind Mac and More Systems comes IOWise, Tallahassee's trusted source for IT services. Protect your business with 24/7 cybersecurity, managed IT support, cloud storage solutions, network design, voice over IP phone systems, expert tech counseling, and more. Whether your business is growing fast or just getting started, IOWise keeps your systems running smoothly and securely. Local service, big solutions. Visit iowise.com today and work wiser with IOWise.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Ira, we need to tell the folks about the fact that there is an abundance of Tavello that could be had this weekend at the game. It's a noon kickoff. The weather's expected to be nice.
Is it
Start
good?
your day with a cool, cold, crisp, delicious Tavello.
And you don't even have to leave Doak Campbell Stadium.
It's
gonna
right
be
there.
right there in the south end zone in the main concourse. And they had some for the first game against Miami, and they'll have this past weekend. That was the first time Tavello was available, and it will be available again this week. And
It's available.
Tavello.
Well done. Nicely done.
Yeah, and Maurice and Lynn, great people, huge Knowles. They got married at a Florida State football game. They've got this operation up in Thomasville. They started it about 3 years ago, I think, roughly. And just great beer. They've got a bunch of different varieties. If you go up to Tavello, up in South Georgia, up in Thomasville, easy, quick ride up there, up 319. But if you're at the game on Saturday, go check them out. Support them. This is their first year. They're in Doak Campbell Stadium. We'd appreciate
Support
it.
local.
Yeah, support them.
It's local. Yeah, absolutely.
Great
Drink
people,
local.
great
Support
Knowles,
local, drink
and
local.
it's great beer.
Trailer Swift writes, well, gents, that sucked.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you seen the clip of Groma trucking Bain? It's awesome. Also, to answer Corey's quandary, my Norvell's best game is always his first one because he's not recruited the requisite talent for his teams to actually improve as the season progresses. The top programs get better because the young talent pushes the older talent. Also, with depth of talent, your best players get more rest. Mike's best games are going to be game one because his 22 best are fresh. As soon as snap one happens, it's downhill from there. Mostly older players, they get a bunch of bumps and bruises. That's Trailer Swift's answer.
Fair point. It's a good rationale, good reason. I will say I do think this is he does have some depth this year. Not maybe, it's not NFL depth. It's depth. Like they played 20 guys on defense. I think the linebackers are all kind of interchangeable for the most part. Defensive linemen. I think Amari Williams might be something. I definitely think
good to get Kevin Wynn in there.
It's good when you think about it. Again, Amari Williams is a freshman. Maybe he's a sophomore. He's second-year guy. He should have been a freshman. You got 3 true freshmen. They're going to be part of your rotation. And then you've got like Arnaud. You've got these other guys that have – and that's what I wanted to ask you guys real quick before we get back to questions. There is a world where you go 8-4, 9-3. Mm-hmm. And other than the offensive line, which you have to just go buy en masse again probably, you can bring a lot of these dudes back. Like I think Earl Little's – I don't know if he's necessarily an early in entry. I don't know if Deuce is.
Well,
I don't know
Earl is not an early entry.
Or Randy Pittman. But they're good football players. You know what I'm saying?
Pittman's a very good football player.
But his measurables are not going to be great.
Yeah,
no.
And Deuce is a good football player.
Yeah.
And Tommy might have just had a bad 3 quarters. It might be a good college quarterback. He's certainly proven he can be. There is a world where, like, if you run this all back, next year, if you finish 8-4, 9-3, and you bring back the vast majority of your production on both sides of the ball, and you're adding better players to the mix, you are a preseason top 10 team. It could happen. This could be the 2022 going into 2023. You don't have a Verse, you don't have a Fisk yet, but you didn't have Fisk going into 2023 until you got him, and he wanted to go play with other good players and on a good
Keon.
program, and you didn't have Keon. So this could happen again if you can finish strong and get these guys to come back if you want them back. That makes sense? I feel like because you wouldn't have sat here. I can promise you in October of 2022, you were not sitting here thinking, man, I bet if they could get these guys to come back, they're about to go 13-0. Not in a million years. No. And you weren't sold on Jordan Travis.
No.
And you weren't sold on anything about that football team. And then they ripped off 19 straight.
Yeah.
It can happen. It can.
I'm not saying it can't happen. I don't know that it's trending that way. I mean, I certainly would love to. I think the thing I brought up is interesting about the quarterback situation.
Oh, I thought I brought up something interesting.
No, I'm kicking around this idea about.
Don't do it. You can't.
I'm not talking about benching him now. I'm just saying I am thinking that this doesn't need to be a 2-year thing.
He's riding or dying with Tommy this year because.
This year I agree.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean he has to next year.
Right, but you would have said the same thing about Jordan, especially after that NC State. That NC State game was gross in 2022.
But hold on.
My point is, it's if things are going not well,
right,
or even just average,
and
which is what 8-4 is.
And so, like last year, and somebody mentioned in the chat that Norvell was reluctant to replace DJU last year, and it's like, well, yeah, man, we saw what his backups were. Kevin Sperry may be a different ball game, and so we'll have to see.
Yeah, he may be. We don't know.
Yeah. Toby Noel writes, hello, gents. Tavello on me. Damn, Skippy.
Nice.
2 questions. Does Tommy seem late with a lot of his throws?
Yes.
Yes. What makes Mario a better recruiter than Mike?
Effort.
Emphasizing
it. I mean, it's the priority.
Evaluation.
He makes his coaches do it.
The 3 E's. Effort, emphasizing, and evaluation.
Good job.
And, that's what we all refer to as the 3 E's.
Right. We've been doing that for years. That's something
everybody does.
Yeah. No, I think, man, this is what Mario is known for as an assistant coach and certainly as a head coach. That is his calling card. Puts a huge emphasis on it, really cares about it, does a good job with it. I think the evaluations have been good. And then, he's bankrolled. I mean, that's a factor too.
They just got the number 1 player in the country, right? Coming in next year. He's a tackle.
Lineman?
Yeah, he's a tackle.
But that was,
But he's paying for him.
Hey, gents, I was a Mike supporter up until this past weekend. Oh, Corey. You went south because of the loss to Miami?
Not me.
I mean,
another Corey.
This is different Corey. I mean, I understand being angry about losing to your arch rival, especially convincingly, but
maybe it was the way it looked.
I'm wondering what it was.
The way it looked early, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he says it's with how different we looked along the lines of scrimmage, and he wants to know if that's ever going to turn around. I can see the portal being good for wide receiver, running back, even quarterback to some degree, but not these lines. Well, I do think that's changed. I think it's much more difficult to get the major impactful players that you could get out of the portal when it first cropped up along the offensive and defensive lines. Most of your best offensive linemen have been recruited out of high school.
Yeah, and also, and again, I'm not putting it all on money, but that's a position where you mentioned the kid that went to Georgia Tech, Petty.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I didn't, but
I thought you did on Wake Up.
No, that was Aslan.
Aslan did.
Yeah.
You guys did.
Right.
You guys are one entity.
Yeah, you're right. We're an entity. Right. The show
but
did.
that was one where, from what we understood, Georgia Tech put a big premium on him in that recruiting class in terms of what they were willing to allocate resources. I know there's some offensive linemen right now that Florida State's involved with who are also being recruited by other schools like Texas A&M and Ohio State and some of these other schools that are offering a lot more than Florida State's willing to offer.
Man, isn't that weird though? It's like, they're not going to play as true freshmen. So it's like the Falcons.
But you need to lock them up when they're freshmen because they don't become.
It's hard, man. Yeah, but it's like the Falcons buying a backup guard and spending a lot of money for a backup guard that you don't expect to play for 2 years.
The problem is if you don't do a good job of stockpiling those players,
then you have to go overpay
in mass.
Yes, for 5 new guys.
You don't have the money to go all in on a superstar at tackle because you have to spread it out for 4 or 5 players. And you're never going to end this vicious cycle unless you really dive into the deep end on a couple of those guys.
Are you telling Mike Norvell
we're not going to get beat because of that? We're going to get this kid.
What if you tell Norvell he's making $2 million a year?
Well,
that's $8 million you free up, Jeff. That's $8 million.
Mike would maybe want to volunteer that. I mean, my man's done all right for himself.
Right. Yeah, would you do that?
This year he kind of has.
Would you do that, or would you rather just get fired and take the 50? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
I'm playing the long game. I want to win and stay here and coach for 20 years.
Yeah, so I'll give you 2 years at a reduced salary.
I'm going to reduce it because I did go 2-10 a year ago, and so let's get some players in.
And he did do that.
Yeah. Let's keep doing it, Mike. Come on, buddy.
Not a Seminole question, but hey, until further notice, it's wait and see with them. Do you think Baker Mayfield is the front runner currently for the MVP in the National Football League? Well, statistically, he's certainly in the conversation, and he has been simply sensational.
This ain't Buccaneer headlines, is it?
No.
What are we doing?
The question's a
What
question.
are we
Headliner
doing?
wants to know about.
I think
Bucks.
Michael Penix.
He's not asking about the Falcons.
Yeah, I think Michael Penix has got a chance to be comeback player of the year.
I don't. Yeah, this is well done, Wade. Do you think we lost to Miami because Jeff was looking ahead to Pitt?
Yeah, that's true. That
was per a few emails I got the week before for Apparently, I cost us dearly in that Virginia game because I was so concentrated on Miami.
You have that kind of power. We've seen it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Can we stop signing all these tight ends and Werfel Trophy winners and start stacking pancakes for the Outland, Remington, and Butkus Award winners?
That would be good if they started getting those guys again. What's the Werfel Award?
It's like sportsmanship or something. Community service. Gibbons won it, and Richie Leonard's up for it now.
Oh, all right. I like Richie Leonard.
Good work.
I like Richie. Yeah. You need guys like that too. But yes, it would be better if your guys were in running for the Outland.
So Greg in Virginia says he only sees 6 wins total, maybe 7. What changes would you expect with a 7-win season if it happens?
None. I think 7 is right there. Again, I hate to qualify it or couch it, but it matters what it looks like, man. If you lose to Clemson 31-30 and you lose to Florida 26-23 and you win the rest of your games, I guess that wouldn't be 6. That would be 7. That'd be 4 losses. At NC State because of a quarterback that maybe isn't here next year, turn it over 4 times. Like you can see a scenario where it's like, yeah, we saw enough progress that we want to run this back, and we like some of the young talent in the core. And some of these skill players are saying they are coming back. You could see that.
I do think what it looks like is going to have a big part of it. And to the point of this past game, they didn't play well. I mean, that was a huge stage. There was a huge opportunity for them.
And they urinated all over themselves.
They didn't play well. Clearly, they didn't play well on offense. They didn't play good enough on defense. And so that's going to be as much a referendum as anything. Like, as excited as everybody was about Gus and Tony after week 1, they're in the microscope now too, because that's part of it. Like, these are the coaches you went out and got. That plays into whether or not you want to run this back. And I know people are going to say, oh, we can't afford to fire him. I hear you. But if there's no interest in this program at the end of the season from a recruiting standpoint and a ticket sales standpoint,
contributions from boosters.
Yeah. I mean,
but then it's like you hear yourself saying that, but you also just said the sentence before, I know that's a huge buyout and you don't want to pay him. It's like, well, it takes money to do that too. You know what I mean? Like,
the difference.
That's the problem is like you $50 million.
No, I got you.
That's so stupid.
But you can't.
So stupid.
I got you, but you can't.
No, I wasn't saying you were stupid.
No, I know what you're saying. It's just like the difference though is a buyout is something you could spread out over years.
Time, yeah.
Losing right now and not being able to sell tickets is a now problem.
And Jimbo is out there. Jimbo's out there, guys.
Yeah, he's lobbying for the job, apparently.
He's lobbying for some jobs, that's for sure.
I would say this.
He never wanted to leave.
I agree.
I don't understand why TK had that shotgun at the back of his head the whole time and made him leave. It doesn't make sense why he did that.
Think about it. Even the year before applying for the LSU
every year.
Yeah, why? I mean, golly.
He didn't want to do that.
For a guy who didn't want to leave, it seems odd. All those tries to dalliances elsewhere. The only thing I would say really quickly is I agree that they probably wouldn't fire him, Corey, if he goes 7-5. I would say on the air he should be fired. And not that means anything.
Because he went 5-5, essentially, right?
He went 5-5. You got to go. I'm done with you. You went 2-10 and 5-5. Get the hell up out of here.
But he won't be.
I agree.
Probably
they
won't be.
Probably wouldn't do it, but I would fire him. And I would have no faith in him moving forward.
That's the problem.
And I would say it, and I think most people would believe that, not because of me, just the games.
Well, I think we sit here.
On the heels of 2-10.
Who is sitting here right now on October 7th, 2025, that has faith in him right now? You don't. I don't. You don't. And I don't mean like faith that
you're not saying that meanly. You're saying here's the evidence. What's
you
the
don't
evidence?
Believe that this team is going to go 10-2. You also don't know if it's going to go off the rails.
I think it's more likely that they go 8-4 or better than it is.
And then do you have faith that next year's the year? You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, he hasn't. That's the problem. There's no faith in him because of what happened between now and 2023.
Well, it's also, what stinks is that, okay, so say they go 8-4. And we just talked about the 2 games you can remove from that, right? So you
went 6-4.
You went 6-4 with a win over Alabama, which is not nothing. But it likely means that you lost to either Florida. You definitely have already lost to Miami. Probably lose to Clemson in that scenario. So you're not beating anybody who's any good, save for that first game of the year against Alabama, which at that point would feel like a fluke. And that may be unfair, but it would feel that way for a lot of people. And you would not have any enthusiasm coming into next year, the following year, if that happens. I mean, like, you're going to throw 2 more losses on top of what they have right now and no more good wins?
Maybe, yeah.
That would suck.
Well, and when I say you don't have faith, it doesn't mean that we all think he sucks and can't win. It's just saying, like, right now as we sit here on October 7th, none of us feel certain that he's going to turn this thing around or it's going to be a really good program in 2026. Important.
I mean, Saturday's
I'm not even certain he'll be here by Christmas of this year. That's how up in the air and tenuous it seems right now. But again, we could be talking here on December 1st, talking about a great bounce back season, in a 9-win season, in a top 15 or 18 finish, in building upon that. Like, all of it is on the table right now. We just don't know. It's just that start to variance. It is, man. But that start to that Miami game.
I'm not expecting it could happen. I'm not expecting it to go off the rails.
I'm not either.
I think it's more likely that they do get to 8-4,
and I trust
maybe
the guy.
9-3.
But don't you trust the guys on the team and these coaches to not let it go off the rails?
Yeah,
I just
seems
do.
like a totally different situation.
Yeah, man. I do.
Yeah,
you know what?
You do.
I do have faith, Mike. I'm filled with faith. Are you kidding me?
You're not at all.
I am too. I have faith in this guy.
That nonsense.
I do, man.
I think they'll beat Pitt on Saturday, but God help if they don't. then it's off the rails.
Quit saying stuff like that. Quit even throwing that out in the universe and in the ether.
Corey, don't start.
It does. We already saw what you did 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. I cost us.
You
Don't do it.
Charlottesville.
If they don't show up and play well and lose to Pitt at home,
it's trouble. But I still have faith in them. I'll have faith in them if they lose to Pitt. I'll have faith in him if they go 3-9.
No, you don't. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A 17-year-old has been arrested Saturday afternoon by the Leon County Sheriff's Office in connection to a shooting near the off-ramp to Thomasville Road on I-10 per LCSO. Jakari Williams is being charged with 2 counts of attempted murder and 3 counts of shooting into an occupied vehicle. He'll be charged as an adult. 1 man and 1 woman were injured in the shooting. 3 vehicles were struck by bullets. The man was the intended target, and he was life-flighted to a hospital outside of the county following the incident. The other victim was taken to a local hospital and is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators worked throughout the night getting search warrants and interviewing witnesses. Sheriff Walt McNeil thanked the Sheriff's Office for the work and the investigation. Law enforcement are investigating what was the suspect's motive. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 90. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear again tonight. Slight chance of rain showers. Lows level off around 69. Tomorrow, high of 90. High of 86 Thursday with a slight chance for storms. 86 Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 83 degrees.
Tired of spending money on bug spray and inhaling all those fumes every time you want to go outside? Treat your yard so you can stop spraying your kids.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control has a solution to this persistent problem. Paul's has a program which seeks the grounds, flower bed, and shrubs. Paul's controls pesky mosquitoes year-round, which means you can take back control of your yard. Not only are mosquitoes a physical irritation, they also pose a potential health risk to people and pets. With Paul's targeted techniques, you can rest assured that your yard will be protected and your afternoons will stay fun.
Take back your yard. Don't let mosquitoes interrupt the fun. For more information, go to callpauls.com. For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Pauls. We'll get them all.
Pauls can help eliminate fire ants from your lawn, too. We'll help you take your yard back.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Man, this is a brutal story in our Facebook commentary. Mark writes, Jeff always warns you've got a Cat 5 maintain before a big matchup. So here's one for you. Late 50s guy, a row in front of us on Saturday night, game shirt, Carolina blue shorts, rocking double hats, decides right before kickoff to evacuate the tailgate. Yep, full-on throw-up all over a 6'3", 300-pound Miami fan wearing a white Sean Taylor jersey. The aroma in our section,
oh, man,
only rivaled by the Noles play on the field, at least until the Canes quit playing. And here's the wild part. The guy didn't even get asked to leave. He got shuffled a few seats down the aisle and watched the whole game like nothing even happened. Credit to the Canes fan for staying cool. No, man. No, there's no staying cool there. There's no chance. That Nole fan deserves an
especially if I was 6'5", 300 and somebody vomited on me, his face would be in the vomit. All in the vomit.
You see what you've done?
Yeah. I mean, how's this? It's like what you do with a dog.
I'm certainly not staying the rest of the game. No, none of this. That's a toughie. When
was the last time you threw up on someone?
I have never, but you know what did happen at a baseball game last year when I went down to watch the Orioles in Marlins.
You got sick?
Friend of mine
Somebody
who had tickets. No, so we were right behind home plate, and this friend of mine who had unbelievable seats right behind home plate. This was fantastic. It was a great time, but it's in those seats where you get the free access to the, not free, but it's included in the access to all the food, ice cream, all the different desserts, all the just great spread they have down there at the Marlins games. And this kid apparently really enjoyed himself, probably at the dessert bar. And so we're sitting there probably in the 4th, 5th inning, and this kid gets up and just starts spewing in all directions. Then he runs.
How old?
Probably 8 or 9.
Okay.
Then he runs out into the aisle. His parents are trying to shuffle him up the stairs, and he in front on these people in front of us. And I think they were like players' parents. And it was just a bad deal.
That's tough.
Those people. Then the Marlins staff comes down. They're trying to like wash off the railings. It's just a bad scene. But it was a kid. You can't get as mad
a little kid. Yeah.
Still,
on the way to.
I'm mad at the parents.
On the way to the Dude Ranch in Leesburg years and years ago on the bus with school, we didn't have air conditioning on the bus. It's a long drive from St. Pete to Leesburg. And it was so hot, and I was sitting in the back and just projectiled all over Mary Beth Deacon.
Poor Mary Beth.
Sweet Mary Beth.
That's a tough one.
In her hair?
I wonder if she still remembers that.
Back of the neck, hair. It's just
fun.
What are you going to do? Sorry.
My bad.
I didn't mean to. I promise.
Bad. This was on me.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Amar writes, gentlemen, I feel deep down in my plums that Pitt's going to blitz all day and get Tommy to make errant throws, and yet another disappointing loss is on the dismal horizon. Please talk me off the edge.
I think Gus Malzahn is good at his job, and I think he knows what's coming. And I think when it's not like Miami got home because Miami has really good players on the defense. It's not like you can scheme against Ruben Bain necessarily.
I mean, there's some things they probably could have done to help out.
But also I think he knows that Tommy might have some limitations with quick throwing on time necessarily. I do think he will devise a game plan to slow down let's say a frantic pass rush. I think he's good at it. He's been doing it for 20 years. And I think he knows his quarterback's limitations. And Pitt's going to probably have to get home with with sending an extra guy or two, which should free up some stuff for you to make plays.
Brett,
and I think you're going to put 50 on him. It's going to be a 50 burger.
There you go, Amar. Corey's got this as an ass whooping. You laying the 10.5?
Unfortunately, Pitt's going to score 55. It's going to be a shootout of our lifetimes.
Doug writes, proud of how the team fought back. Would have liked that W. Where do the following reasons rank for the reasons we lost? Gus called a bad game. Tommy played a bad game. We can't get pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Miami gets a bye week before a rivalry game. Curious. They're more talented than we are. Thanks. I'm going to go with they're more talented than we are.
I'd say E
I'm going to go with
first.
Tommy had a bad game.
Tommy is second with a bad game.
We're ranking them?
Yeah, we're ranking
them. Just those are the two main ones. I think number one is the talent.
I would also say not getting pressure on the opposing quarterback is a problem.
You don't need that. You don't need that. And I will say this. There were a couple of times, and Tony White pointed this out, where the way they were calling, they brought in James Williams only played on passing downs.
Yeah.
And he brought in the Williams brothers and the Desir brothers, Amari and James and the Desir twins. And I thought there were a few times where they impacted Carson Beck. And
very few.
But they didn't get a lot of chances. It's not like he was sitting there. Yeah. He threw screen passes, and they have really good players. When he actually had to wait for routes to develop, I did think Desirs and Williams got home a little bit. I'm just saying that might be something to watch. I liked, let's call that the cheetah package. Or the brothers. We got to do something with the brothers because there's the Williams and the Desirs.
Brett writes, hi, fellas. Smoked some Register's hot sausage and a pork butt on Saturday. Tell you what, doesn't get much better than a pulled pork sandwich topped with sausage and coleslaw. What's our
I
almost
missed the coleslaw, but everything else I liked about that.
What's our almost midseason grade for Tommy at this point? B.
I would almost say I'm
B.
hard. It's one B. Miami. Which of these quarterbacks has looked good against Miami?
It's a B.
None of them.
Jason writes, hi,
Probably
guys.
a B.
Jason from Charlotte here. Curious if you caught the Jimbo analysis on ACC Network. More importantly, would you be open to him coaching us ever again?
So Ed, my buddy Ed, Ed from a Corner Pocket.
I know Ed also.
Ed. Sorry, he was talking about during the game. The ACC had a feed where Jimbo's on the field watching the game, and that's
not
cool.
just him. It was like
that was all. Yeah, but that was. I didn't even know they did that.
He did point out something that I found out about later, went back and found, and he's right about this, and it is disconcerting. And I would like to know if it was the moment, but Tommy had a lot of shot put throws, like a lot of not anything on it throws, and they weren't all because he was being hit. There were moments where it looked like he was. I
also thought he was falling backwards a lot, like fadeaway jump shots.
Nonsense. Yeah. Now some of that's getting hit. Might cause you to do that. You give credit to the opponent, but he did have some throws that did not look like he was putting anything into them, and Jimbo did point that out. It's a bit disconcerting. I hope he's not hurt.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that or if it's more just, again, I think he was affected. He looked like he was affected by the speed and the pressure he was getting from Miami's defense.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
To the other question, look, man, I said this on Wake Up. No, probably not when it comes to Jimbo coaching this program again, but absolutely not if he's going to insist on calling the offense. I just want people to understand he got fired at his last job because they didn't win enough and his offense was dreadful. If he would
with the
great
best recruiting
player,
classes,
like with the best recruiting classes of all time. So if he would be a guy that would just be a CEO, I think the world is his oyster for the next 10 years.
I would love for him to be the lead recruiter.
I wouldn't even mind him being the head coach if he kept Gus or somebody that called the plays and he stayed out of it. But I don't. How would he ever do that?
What world is that going to happen?
How would he ever do that?
He wouldn't do it.
So, but that's why I would say no. If I could get guarantees that he would be a Bowden CEO of the 90s, because there aren't many that in the history of the sport that have been better at evaluating.
There was so much
than Jimbo Fisher.
There was just so much revisionist history going on that whole weekend. And even like on the set when they're talking, it's him and Dalvin talking about those great teams. And like Dalvin's talking about that USF game. Well, that was the year they had the promissory notes. Like, I mean, this was not a dynasty. Like that they were on the downslide. If it wasn't for Dalvin, imagine what those teams would have been like.
Well, and I've brought this up before. Somebody has, brought that to my attention over the weekend. They were like, well, I mean, we can forgive Jimbo. I'm like, fine, forgive all you want, but let's not pretend certain things didn't happen at the end of his time here. And also, before we got blown out by Louisville at Louisville, which I predicted on the air, and said that the locker room was a mess and that we were downsliding. They quit in the Boston College game. They're down 30 whatever to nothing. I mean, it's nonsense.
Hey, man, it was 35-3.
Well,
come on.
The point was the point was it had all really regressed into this hideous mess of a program because he had lost control and he didn't follow up on from a discipline standpoint. He'd stopped recruiting a quarterback. I mean, he couldn't get anybody in here who was worth a damn. I mean, it was a mess, and it's a shame because there's greatness in Jimbo Fisher in terms of his knowledge of the game. And at one point, obviously what he built with the 29 straight, winning a national championship. Nobody's going to forget that, and you ought not. But you also can't forget the other side of it and the way that it played out.
He was unable to sustain it because of him more than it was. He was mad about the Champions Club. He was mad about College Town. He was mad about all of those things. But those are not the reasons you signed J.J. Costantino and all those other quarterbacks you signed. Yeah. And
the offensive line was a
disaster.
A bit of a train wreck.
It 3 or 4 years too long. And so, again, I don't have anything ill will against him. I'm glad the fact that fans do like him, but this weird mind game people are playing with themselves and like ignoring those last 3 years.
You know what it is?
And then what happened to Texas A&M is just strange.
I don't understand just ignoring Texas A&M. Like he had all the resources in the world and loaded them up with great players. Great players, like first round picks, still didn't win anything and got fired. And their offense was awful. They lost at home to like not Marshall. They lost to some like almost FCS school, Appalachian State at home. With when they were number 10 in the country or whatever. Like he had some horrible moments at A&M. I don't know that Florida State should go hire a recently fired coach from another conference.
Well, they're not going to.
No.
you're not gonna have to worry about it.
Nick said that there's some people we have to get to in the chat.
Oh, sorry.
Let's go.
Let's get to those folks in the chat. I got to get back
But
over there.
Jimbo, it was cool getting to watch Derwin and Dalvin and Jalen and all that. That was awesome. That really was awesome. I'm not being sarcastic.
No, nobody ever did that.
Yeah,
and he got some great players here, and they were fun to watch at times.
Carson says, "How's it going, boys? Got a chance to meet Mr. Ira for the first time before the game on Saturday. Awesome to get to talk to you. Do you all think we finish with less than 8 wins? No, I think they'll finish with more than 8. Well,
you do,
8 or more wins.
I think they're good. Right now, I'm hammering 8. I feel like 8 is right where we're shooting.
No,
for.
I'll say more than 7. Yeah, it's tough to pick more than 8.
That's what I'm saying. I think 8's right there.
Pisses me off. But anyhow,
Carson, I don't love the Mr. Ira, but Carson's a young guy. I did meet him. I think his brother goes to FSU.
Mr. Carson.
Carson was very nice. Appreciate you, the contribution and for coming by to say hi. But I
Carson,
think,
a girl or a boy?
Guy.
Okay. Not it's a manly name. It says Corey. You know what I mean? I wasn't, but there can be Carsons that are girls, so I want to make sure.
100 Proof Football says, "Are we just going to let Jeff off the hook for the no keg stand jinx? Boo this man."
That is crazy.
There are some people.
I don't understand
There's
that.
a lot of talk about that.
It doesn't take. Yeah, I know you got to go cover you got to go watch a high school football game. You can swing over at corner pocket, do a 30-second keg stand, get on your way.
I had to drive to Cairo. You want me to do a keg stand before I drive to Cairo?
Well, I mean, are you getting drunk off one keg stand?
Well, no, this guy doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There are a lot of lesser people who certainly do, but no,
not you.
Not me.
I mean, who am I talking to? I thought I was talking to a vet, a wily vet.
Correct. I could do that.
So
but,
the answer to your question is, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
and you kind of jinxed the whole program. So, Mike, if you end up going down this year,
and the guy that wouldn't eat the dog crap.
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. And I have said repeatedly,
that
I
goldfish
will,
dying.
in fact, perform the keg stand. I just couldn't because I went to my son's game.
It'd be awesome if you did. If they're like 5-4 and he's doing it before the weight game.
Oh,
remember when we beat Alabama 2 months ago? Let's celebrate.
Game like a Dylan writes, "Great seeing all you guys this past weekend. No question, just admiration. Yay, sausage. Go Noles." Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Thank
Dylan.
you, Dylan.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Something like Dylan.
Yeah.
Well done. Appreciate that. Did I get everybody? Did I get to all the chats? I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, man.
Here's a question, real quick. Let's say it doesn't go right for Norvell, and they go 7-5, 6-6. They fire him. Do you hire James Franklin?
Yeah.
I do in a heartbeat.
Because in that moment you're going to beat every average to bad team on
Well,
your
there's
schedule.
a lot of them.
Right. Like no more of this losing 9 of your last 10 ACC games.
He is absolutely built for the ACC.
No more 20-22 records in the ACC. You're out here winning a vast majority, except for when you play Miami,
if they're
Clemson,
good.
Florida, or anybody that's any good at all.
But I don't know that any of those. I don't know that Clemson and Florida are good this year, so he might have something for them too.
If history's in the
he didn't have anything for UCLA, Corey.
Well, they were playing with magic, man. They got the new Heisel guy. They just felt, and UCLA's a sleeping giant, and I've been saying it all season. That team was scary.
If history's any indication, James Franklin will definitely float his name for the Florida State job if it comes open, because that's what he does.
That's nice of you, Jason. My K-Rose syrup makers beat Leon, but Jeff's son Bryce is the best player on the team. He did have a 40-yard touchdown in that game.
There we go. What was the final?
We got house 40-something-7.
Oh, so
he
he had the
scored
7.
only points.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Dad told me I think he had 6 catches.
He did. He had 6 catches, close to 100 yards, another touchdown.
Let's go, Bryce.
He's actually having a season. He's having a good year.
Where's he going to play?
I don't know if he wants to play or not. A couple small schools are looking. So
well, that's the route. And go set records at like Gardner-Webb.
I told him to go to ETSU and then transfer to Florida State. We put that man weight on and let's go.
Yep. You got 2 years
of different conversation.
Yeah, he's got Sperry to Cameron.
He'll be back to he'll replace Deuce in 2 years.
Yeah. Say similar body
Very
type.
different player. Very different player. And fans, don't get your hopes up. It's not going to be the same guy. But yeah, he's had a good year.
All right. Well, good, man. That's good to
Say
hear.
goodbye, gents.
Hey, peace out, everyone. Peace out.
Go.
Hey, times are going to turn. They're going to get better. They're going to get better, everyone.
Well, hopefully Saturday at noon against Pitt. Yeah,
that's
nice.
nice.
They better not try to blitz.
Oh,
that's all I'm telling you right now.
Some, everybody.
I'm letting you know right now. Don't even try to blitz. Tommy's got
Squirrel White is due.
For Corey and Ira, I'm Jeff. Bonus hour forthcoming. Stay with until the next time. Peace.